Good afternoon all. Am
Good
I audible?
afternoon, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine enough. Last time we have seen some of the examples using moving average method. In moving average method, there were two different parts. Moving average method in the sense it can be found with 3 year moving average, 5 year moving average, 7 year moving average, and 4 yearly moving average. Now, a number for which you are likely to get a moving average, you can classify in a two different way. Odd number of year moving averages to be found. Now, we have seen some of the example, right? And if it is an even number, there is only one number in your syllabus which is an even number yearly moving average is to be found of, and that number is 4. So we have seen one of the example using this even period. Once you can say 4 yearly moving average, that is what we have seen. In that case, there were two different methods. One of the method which we have seen earlier, let me recall it again. In that case, what we were expected to do is, for a moment, I'm recapping it. We have done this example, so we are just having an overview about it, and then we'll shift to the second method of getting 4 yearly moving average, right? Okay, in the first method which we have seen earlier, we are recapping it. Let us suppose data set is given to you. Calculate the trend values using 4 yearly moving average from the following data. And data is given from 2001 to 2010. And cells in crores is given to you. So naturally, data set given is in a row form. You have to put it in a column form. Once you put it in a column form, as I suggested, that put a line in between of every year so that you can calculate it in a better way. Okay, while putting it 2001, 2002, 3, 4, put a line in between of each of them. Fine enough. Now it is a 4 yearly moving average, so naturally you have to make a bunch of first 4 and you have to make a sum of all 4 cells, and you have to write it exactly in between of 2001 to 2004. Exactly in between of 2001 to 2004 is somewhere between 2002 and 3, and that is where you have to write it down. Similarly, you have to proceed it for the whole column. So the third column which you will be getting would be 4 yearly moving total. Once you get this, since it is not against any of a prescribed year, so again you have to process, make a bunch of 2 now. So 35 and 38 is being summed up. That becomes 73, and do the whole process for each of the element of that column. Put it against in between. So in between is again against 2003. That is fine. Again, still now what we have done is we have summed it up only. First of all, we made a bunch of 4, and then after we made a bunch of 2. So you, to get an average, naturally it should be divided by 4 and divided by 2. So ultimately it is divided by 4 multiplied by 2, which is 8. So this 73 is to be divided by 8, and what you will be getting would be 9.145. And the same process is to be done for each of them. And this is what exactly we did it earlier in the example. This is where we kept it open. Now we are shifting to another example using a second method. What this second method is? Look, method, when I say a word method at that time, your answers are not going to alter. Since a word method is used, it is very natural that your answer is not going to alter at all. There might be some other way of calculating. That's it. That is called a method. Let us see. The second method, instead of reading all this, do one thing. Let us have an example that will make it very clear to you what exactly we are doing. Calculate the trend values using 4 yearly moving average from the following data. Again, data set remains same 2001 to 2010 and cells in crore. The similar data set is there. Again, first two step remain same. We have to put it in a column format. The first column would be year and second column would be cells in crore. Again, suggestion remains there that we should keep a line in between of each of the year. 2001, put a line, then after 2002, then after a line, 2003, and so on. Means you have to keep one line blank in between of each of the years. Similarly, you will have one line blank in between of cells even. The third column is to be made is 4 yearly moving total. 4 yearly moving total means, again, you have to make a branch of 4. And 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 11 becomes 35. Similarly, 8 plus 9 plus 11 plus the next one becomes 38. And similarly, we have to put it in between of 2002 and 2003. Means that sum becomes 35. Now, since it is a 4 yearly moving total, first of all, get an average for it. To get an average, since we made a bunch of 4, it is to be divided by 4. So 35 divided by 4 becomes 8.75. Similarly, 38 divided by 4 becomes 9.5. 42 divided by 4 becomes 10.5. And do the same for the whole column. Once you do it, it is nothing but 4 yearly moving average. Now, it should be against some particular number of years. So now you just make a bunch of this average, bunch of 2 of this average. So 2 period moving total of column number 4, that means 8.75 plus 9.5, which gives you sum of 18.25, and the next column would be 4 yearly moving average centered, or you can say it is the trend value, which is nothing but 18.25. Since it was a sum of 2 elements, it should be divided by 2, and that is how this 9.125 comes. Similarly, 9.50 plus 10.50 gives us 20. 20 divided by 2 becomes 10, and similarly, all other values are to be calculated on. Could you mark the difference among these two methods? Can anyone say what are the differences in the first and second method? Anyone from you?
We have to repeat the additions and divisions twice.
Absolutely. In an earlier method, what we did was we made a sum of 4, and then after making a bunch of 2 and again a sum. And then ultimately we were dividing it by 8. Whereas in this method, make a bunch of 4, get an average. That average is to be divided by 2 again by making a bunch of 2. So only the process is done twice in this case, whereas it was done once in the earlier case. It is that simple. We have made a compartment of 2 different methods in this case. Whatever you are convenient with, you can opt that method. Again, there is nowhere written in the example itself that use this method or use that method. Whatever way you are comfortable it with, you can do it. I hope, as I suggested earlier, that each of you are having pen and paper with you. Let us have this example done practically. Let us do it. Calculate trend values using 4 yearly moving average from the following data using this second method. First of all, make 2 columns. Consciously put some blank line in between of years while writing column year. Do it right now. (2001) blank, 2002 blank, 2003 blank, 2004 and so on up to it is 2010. Make another column. Cells. Against 2001, write down 7. Against 2002, write down 8, 9, 11 and so on. 10 against 2005, 12 against 2006, 8 against 2007, 6 against 2008, 5 against 2009 and 10 against 2010. Once you built this two column, make another column with a title 4 yearly moving total. Make another column with the title 4 yearly moving totals. Since it is a 4 yearly moving totals, naturally you have to make a bunch of 4 and you have to write it in between of exactly in between of the years. So if you make a bunch of first 4 means 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 11. That gives you 35. 35 is to be written exactly in between of 2001 to 2004. That means it is in between of 2003, 2 and 2003. So we have written it 35 in between of 2002 and 2003. Exactly, there is nothing against this 35 right now. Similarly, next is 38, next is 42, next is 41, then after it is 36, 31 and 29. Put a dash against where you don't have anything. Dash, dash. So here first two dash will be there and last two elements will have similar dash. Now make another column title of 4 yearly moving average which is not centered right now. Not centered. If you make a centering process, naturally it will be against some number of year, but in this case it is not centered. So 35 divided by 4, because you made a bunch of 4, so 35 divided by 4 becomes 8.75. 38 divided by 4 becomes 9.5. 42 divided by 4 becomes 10.5. 41 divided by 4 becomes 10.25. 36 divided by 4 becomes 9. 31 divided by 4 is 7.75. And 29 divided by 4 is 7.25 and dash remains same. It was in the last column. This is what you found 4 yearly moving average which is not centered. Now a centering process is to be done. Since it is an average, make a bunch of two averages. Means 8.75 plus 9.50 in the next column. The next column is 2 period moving total, which is nothing but making a bunch of 2 and you have to write that total. 8.75 plus 9.5 becomes 18.25 and it is to be written in between of this two entity 8.75 and 9.5. In between of this 8.75 and 9.50 is against 2003. So naturally this process is named as centering process. Similarly, 9.5 plus 10.50 becomes 20. it should be written in between of 9.5 and 10.5, which is exactly against 2004. Do the same thing for all other entities. This comes to 20.75, 19.25, 16.75, and 15. Again, this column was sum. Since you made a bunch of 2, naturally average is to be found of. So whatever element in this column is, divide it with 2, that will give you 4 yearly moving average centered. And that is what the trend values are. So 18.25 should be divided by 2, which comes to 9.125. 20 divided by 2 becomes 10. 20.75 divided by 2 becomes 10.375. 19.25 divided by 2 becomes 9.625. 16.75 divided by 2 becomes 8.375. And 15 divided by 2 becomes 7.5. And this becomes 4 yearly moving average center. 9.125 is against 2003. The next entity is against 2004. Next entity would be against 2005, and so on. And this is how a 4 yearly moving average centered is to be found using the second method. The same data set was used in the first example, and the same data set is used for this second method. You can compare your answers with the first and the second method. You will find it in both the way you will get the same answer. Just observe it. Are you getting the same answer in the first and second method?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Surely.
Yes, sir.
In any case, if you are not getting the same answer, that simply indicates that there is some mistake in your calculation part. You have to rework it again. So these are the two different methods. In the first method, 4 yearly moving total, then that total is to be made again bunch of 2. That total is to be divided by 8. That was the first method. In the second method, 4 yearly moving total, get an average, make a bunch of 2 of an average, and then divide it with 2. That is the second type of method or second method. Ultimately, you will get the same result in any one of these two. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Can we shift to the new method? I mean, the next level of examination. Examples.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. When till now all the examples we were having data set in form of year. 1990, 91, 92, something like that. Let us suppose your data is given in form of quarters. Let us see this example. Calculate the trend values by the method of moving average from the following quarterly data. Quarters are from first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. There would be 4 different quarters in 2005 and 4 different quarters with 2006. Using a 4 quarterly. Look, last time we were using a term as 4 yearly. In this case, it would be 4 quarterly moving average and get trend values. I want all of you to do it with me. Data set is given. We have to rewrite it in a column format. So in a column format, the first column would be year, second column would be quarter, and the third column would be the value which is given for the first, second, third, and fourth quarter for each of the year. So 74, 56, 48, 69, 83, 52, 49, and 81. This is how you have to put it in a column format. Since it is for quarterly moving average, keep it in mind that there should be a blank space between each of the quarter. Put a blank line between quarter 1 and quarter 2, quarter 2 and quarter 3, quarter 3 and quarter 4, and up to the last. Make another column for quarterly moving total. What should be done in this case? What should be done in this case? Want answer from you? I think it is not a time for songs. Payal. Yes, Payal.
Total of 4 quarters, 74 plus 56 plus 48 plus 69.
Absolutely.
Which equals
The first
200.
entity would be 74 plus 56 plus 48 plus 69, and you have to put it in between of all these four. In between of all these four means it may arise somewhere between second and third quarter. If you make sum of this four, it is 247. So 247 is to be written against exactly in between of second and third quarter. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do the same. What should be the next step?
For two quarterly totals?
No, this first entity is over. You got 247, right?
Yes.
How you will get the another entity? After getting 247,
Leaving first one.
leave the first quarter and then whatever the four elements are, means 56 plus 48 plus 69 plus 83. What is the sum?
256.
256. It is to be written against क्या लिखा हुआ जो
Third.
53, third and fourth.
third and fourth
Third and
quaterny vache, if you kept a space there, a blank line there, you have to write it against that. It should be between 48 and 69. Means it is 256. Okay, once you got this 256, what would be the next step?
247 plus
Leaving the
256.
second one.
Again, you have to skip first two elements. Now the sum would be 48, 69, 83 and 52. What is that sum?
252.
252. It is to be written against fourth quarter of 2005 and the first quarter of 2006. So it should be between 69 and 83. 69 and 83, there is a blank line, you have to write it down there only. Fine enough. What should be the next thing to be done?
Leaving three elements.
Leaving first three elements, 69, 83, 52 and 49. Okay. What is the sum?
It is 265.
265 is the last one, I suppose. You are missing one.
Yes, sir. It is 253.
It is 253, which is to be written against the first and second quarter of 2006. So it is between 83 and 52, 253. What should be the next thing to be done?
Leaving four elements.
Leaving 4 elements, that means leaving 2005, 2006, all the 4 elements, 83 plus 52 plus 49 plus 81, and that sum is
265.
265. We have to write it against in between of 52 and 49, which is 265, right? Okay, once you do it, now this part is over. Because as such, if you leave first 5 elements, now there are not 4 elements left in your book. So this would be the last one, right? Okay, make another column. What should be the another column?
2 quarterly
Naturally,
totals.
you have to bunch this 4 quarterly moving totals, make a bunch of 2. While making a bunch of 2, naturally 247 plus 256, and it should be written in between of 247 and 256. So it would be against third quarter. Now making the sum of 247 and 256, it comes to
503.
503.
503. Okay, now skip the first one. 247 is to be skipped. Now make a bunch of 2. 256 plus 252.
508.
508. That is to be written in between of 256 and 252, which comes against the fourth quarter of 2005. Similarly, skip first 2 elements. Make a bunch of 2. 252 and 253.
505.
500.
500 and
505.
5.
505. Okay, that is to be written in between of 252 and 253. So naturally it comes again the first quarter of 2006. So it is 505. Now skip first 3 elements. 253 and 265, making a sum of that 2 comes to
518.
518. In this 518 is to be written in between of 253 and 265, which comes against second quarter of 2006. Okay, now the the 2 quarterly totals of 4 quarterly moving totals is over. The next thing is to be done is make another column named 4 quarterly moving average centered, or you can say trend values. What is to be done in this case now?
503
Divided by 8.
divided by 8.
503 divided by 8 will give you 62.875. 508 divided by 8 will give you 63.5. 505 divided by 8 will give you 63.125, and 518 divided by 8 will give you 64.75, and that becomes a trend values using 4 quarterly moving average center. Are you getting all these values now?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
I think it is damn easy. Thing is only you have to concentrate on the methodology which we are focusing, which we are proceeding. Is it okay? Let us shift to the next example. Now there is one more way of doing it. One more. Till now it was whatever we were doing was we were using simple average. Now that is possible that they may give you some weighted moving average with some weights given to you. In that case, how to proceed? Again, the example might be of this form. Calculate 3 yearly weighted moving average with weights 1, 4 and 1 for the following data. Okay. Till now, you were calculating a simple average. Now you have to calculate weighted average, or you can say weighted arithmetic averages. What is to be done? First thing first. First of all, whatever data set is given to you, 2001, 2002, 2003, 4, 5, 6 and 7, put it in a column. Write down the first column. Since it is 3-yearly weighted moving average, so you don't have to bother much about putting a blank space in between of years. It is not needed because it is 3-yearly weighted moving average, right? So make a first column as year, write all the years 2001, 2002 up to 2007. Make another column titled values. Put all the values 2, 6, 1, 5, 3, 7 and 2 against the corresponding, or you can say respective year. Have you done it?
Yes, sir.
Do it simultaneously. Do it now. What is to be done? Make another column titled 3-yearly weighted moving total. Make a column of 3-yearly weighted moving total. Okay. Now, since it is 3-yearly, naturally we have to make a bunch of 3. While making a bunch of 3 of values, which are the values to be incorporated? It is 2, 6 and 1. It is 2, 6 and 1. Okay. Now it was given that with the weights, look, again I am coming back to with the weights 1, 4 and 1. So for the first year weight should be 1, for the second year weight should be 4 and the third year weight should be 1 again. Okay. Now let us apply it. First year whatever is the value, in here the value is 2. So that 2 is to be multiplied by the weight. Weight is 1. So 2 multiplied by 1 plus the second year is to be multiplied with the weight of second year. So 6 multiplied by 4, because 4 is the weight given to you for the second year, plus the third year is 1, value is 1, the weight is again 1. So 1 multiplied by 1 is to be added in this case. So it is 2 multiplied by 1 plus 6 multiplied by 4 plus 1 multiplied by 1. Total becomes 27. Are you getting this 27?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What should be done in the next point? What should one do to get a second element? Skip the first element, means the 2 is to be skipped. Now the years having values 6, 1 and 5. Is it okay?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. 6 will have weight 1, so 6 multiplied by 1 plus 1 will have weight 4, so it would be 1 multiplied by 4, and 5 will have weight 1, so it is 5 multiplied by 1. So the total becomes 6 multiplied by 1 plus 1 multiplied by 4 plus 5 multiplied by 1, and that total becomes 15. Are you getting this 15?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now do the same job for the third element. Skip first two elements, 2 and 6. Now the elements are 1, 5 and 3. 1 is to be multiplied by 1, 5 is to be multiplied by 4, 3 is to be multiplied by 1, and make a sum of each of them. That sum is 24. Do the same for all other elements and confirm it that you are getting the perfect answer.
Yes, sir.
Each of the answer is verified.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now tell me, you have to get an average. To get an average, it is to be divided by, look here, it is 3-yearly average, right? So generally you may have a conception that it is to be divided by 3, but actually it is not. So I made a column, since it was the first example, so I made a column of weight. In each of them, these weights are to be summed up. Okay, while making a sum of weight, how it would be? It is 1, 4 and 1. So 1 plus 4 plus 1 becomes 6, and that weight remains constant throughout for each of them. So I made a column of weight. It is not needed for the second and third example. This column is not required. This column I have written it just because of to make you clarify that since you are dealing it for the first time, that is why I have written a column of total total of weights. Total of weight means weights were 1, 4 and 1. So 1 plus 4 plus 1 becomes 6. And that is why I have written this 6 in this column. Now 3-yearly weighted moving average, that will be the next column. That simply indicates that 27, which is the sum of 3-yearly weighted moving total, and divided by weight. So 27 divided by 6 comes to 4.5. Similarly, whatever are the entities which you are getting here as 3-yearly weighted moving total, you just divide it with 6. What you will get is this column. Get it done. Do it right away.
Done, sir.
Done. You are getting all the answers correctly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine enough. Very nice. This is how a weighted moving average is to be found of. Similarly, it can be 5-yearly weighted moving average is again possible. So at that time, 5 different weights might be given to you and you have to process it similarly. Will you be able to do it right away?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let us see. Next example. Now this example you have to do of your own, right? Next one. The whole example is in 2 parts. For the following data, verify that 5-yearly weighted moving average with the weights 1, 2, 2, 2 and 1 respectively is equivalent to 4-yearly centered moving average. Actually, this example is bunch of 2 examples. So here you have to calculate 2 different moving averages. One would be 5-yearly weighted moving average with the weight 1, 2, 2, 2 and 1. And second one is 4-yearly centered moving average. Since there is nothing like weighted, so in a routine course you have to calculate 4-yearly centered moving average. So the first example, first of all, we will be concentrating on 5 yearly weighted moving average with the weights 1, 2, 2, 2 and 1. Data set is given from 2001 to 2010. So first of all, make two columns. The first column is year and second column is cells. Come on, do it. Since it is 5 yearly, you don't have to keep any blank line in between of years. Coming back to the next column, 5 yearly weighted moving totals. 5 yearly weighted moving totals. Make a bunch of 5. 2, 6, 1, 5, 3. Apply the weight. 2 multiplied by 1, 6 multiplied by 2, 1 multiplied by 1, 5 multiplied by and 3 multiplied by 1 again. Make a total of it, and that total is somewhere about 29. Skip the first entity, make a bunch of 5, 6, 1, 5, 3 and 7. Apply the weights. 6 multiplied by 1, 1 multiplied by 2, 5 multiplied by 2, 3 multiplied by 2 and 7 multiplied by 1. Make a sum. That sum comes to 31. Skip first two elements. The remaining elements, make a bunch of 5. 1, 5, 3, 7 and 2. Apply the weight 1, 2, 2, 2 and 1. Simplify it, you will get sum of 33. Similarly, the next sum is 35. The next sum is 37. And next sum is 39. Are you getting all these values?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good. The another column. Weight. Sum of weights. The quantity by which you are likely to divide this sum. Sum of weight means it is 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1. Total is 8. So you have to write 8 against each of the element. So now you have two different columns. One is sum and second is total weight. That sum is to be divided by weights. So 29 divided by 8 would be the next column. 5 yearly weighted moving average will be the title of that column. 5-yearly weighted moving average is the title of next column. So 29 divided by 8 comes to 3.63. 31 divided by 8 comes to 3.88. Similarly, proceed. So that column becomes our trend values. 5-yearly weighted moving average. Is it perfect?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now, keep it aside. Unside में मुझे with the same data set, now we have to calculate 4-yearly centered moving average without weights. The second example is to calculate 4-yearly centered moving average. Do it right away. So draw another table where your first and second column will remain same. But since it is a 4-yearly centered moving average, you have to keep one blank between each of the year. Between 2001 and 2002, put a blank line. 2002 and 2003, put a blank line, and so on. What should be done next? What should we do?
2 plus 6 plus 1 plus 5, which equals to 14.
2 plus 6 plus 1 plus 5 becomes 14. We should put it against in between of 2002 and 2003. And the title of that column would be so title column 4-yearly moving total, which is 14. Complete it.
Yes, sir.
Is it done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let us check it. The sum, Mansi, sorry, Payal, can you compare it with? Is it 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20? Are they the sum?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Two yearly moving totals. That means making a bunch of two. 14 plus 15, 29. 15 plus 16, 31. So make a bunch of 2, you will get another column as 29, 31, 33, 35, 37 and 39. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now, the next column would be 4 yearly centered moving average. You have to put it against the middle year. So naturally it is to be divided by 8. Because first of all you made a bunch of 4 and then after you made a bunch of 2. So naturally it is to be divided by 8. Once you divide it with 8, this 29 is to be divided by 8 becomes 3.63 and you will get the last column as 4 yearly centered moving average, or you can say trend values. Are you getting the same values?
Yes.
Now
Yes, sir.
you have both the examples in against you. In the last example, what you did was 5 yearly weighted moving average with the weight 1, 2, 2 and 1, and 4 yearly centered moving average, which is the same one. Just compare the results of both the examples. What you observe in that case,
The answers are same.
the
Both
answer
results same.
remains same. So 5 yearly weighted moving average with the weight 1, 2, 2 and 1 is as same as of 4 yearly centered moving average. Both the examples are generating same results. Can you conclude it that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can anyone say why it is happening so? Can anyone throw a light on it that why it is happening so?
Because might be the data is given of 10 years.
No. Just think of it, think of it, think of it. If the data set is given of 10 years, always we will find the same thing. And if it is number of years are 12, then you may not get the similar kind of results. Is it so? Observe it. You should have a very sharp observation power. If you have an observation power, no theories are to be marked up. Just observe both the cases, you will come to know why answers are same. Any logic?
Divided by 8.
Divided by 8. The weights total is 1, 2, 2 and 1. The total is 8. 8 means the weights which you have is 8. And here also 4 yearly centered moving average, you are likely to divide it with 8. So the denominators are same. That is why this is happening. So in both the cases, you are getting the same answer. Right enough?
Yes, sir.
I think we should keep up to this. We'll have some more example of different styles in the next lecture. Is it clear now? Yes, Payal.
Sir, what is the difference between 4 yearly moving average and 4 yearly centered moving average? Like in centered moving average, first we are supposed to do 4 group and then divided by 2.
Look. There are no two different things. Whenever it is being asked to you that calculate 4 yearly moving average, you have to center it by all means. Whenever the question is to get 4 yearly moving average, let us suppose in the question itself it is written that calculate 4 yearly moving average, even though you have to make it centered, because first of all you will make a bunch of 2, then you will make a bunch of first of all you will make a bunch of 4, then you will make a bunch of 2, and ultimately you will divide it with 8. So that process is called centered. Centered means your entity, your answer should come against some number of years. Look here, 3.63 is coming against 2003. It should not be in between of 2002 and 2003. That means you are centering your year. That process is called centering. Let me explain it in a better way, that let us suppose example is to get 4 yearly moving average. They haven't used the word centered, but centering is to be done by all means. So always it would be 4 yearly centered moving average. There are no two different entities like 4 yearly moving average and 4 yearly centered moving average. They are not two different entities. They are the same one. Whether they have asked it or not, you have to center it for sure. Is it clear, Payal?
Yes, sir. And if in question it's given, find out 8 yearly moving average and 8 yearly centered moving
Look,
average.
8
Then this
yearly
has
moving average is not in your syllabus right now, but
okay.
similarly you have to do it by making a bunch of 8, then again
Yes. That,
making a bunch of further, and then after dividing it with the corresponding element. You have to, the process will remain same.
got it, sir. Understood.
Okay, fine. Now let me take your leave now. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.